Hey guys, it's Clovis, and today we're going to talk about sea serpents. There's not a lot of sea serpents in the game, guys. In fact, you're actually looking at all 5 of them right now on your screen. This is all the sea serpents in the game. There's 5 of them. But, you know, these are actually, considering there's only 5 of them, they're actually pretty interesting. So let's talk about the leader abilities, because these leader abilities are actually pretty good for what you'd think. So, if you look at them right, you see level cost reduction for summoning same type, which usually, this is actually one of my favorite abilities in the game when it's at 2. Usually, if you look at some of the archetypes, it's a bit difficult, like, Winged Beast, for example, you can't get 2 level cost reduction, but a lot of the types you can, and the trick is for machines and dragons you need a level 7, but for other types, including Beast Warriors, you only need a level 6 to gain the 2, and Sea Serpents are exactly the same, luckily, so you actually have the choice of Aqua Dragon or Sea King Dragon. Both of them are fusions as well, actually, which is really cool. I personally prefer the Aqua Dragon one, I just think it's a lot cooler. But remember guys, every time I mention the fusions and good deck leader candidates, they go hand in hand. The idea is to fuse up to 5, you know, you can play 3 Aqua Dragons and fuse 2, or play 2 and fuse 3, or potentially even fuse 5 if you want out on the field. Keep them face up in attack mode and then skip turns as fast as possible, and that's the fastest way to gain experience in the game, and you're going to want to do that if you ever want a chance of getting these leader abilities without using a cheating device. You'll have to do that. And Aqua Dragon is a really good candidate actually. So as I mentioned guys, fusing to make Aqua Dragon, if you fuse a 5-star Sea Serpent, so Kairyu-Shin Seadra works as well. You fuse one of them with a 5-star Aqua, and you make Aqua Dragon. Aqua Dragon you can actually make with a 2000 attack Dragon, and a 5-star Aqua, I believe. So yeah, just give it a try, give it some experimentation. Sea King Dragon is also another fusion. Unfortunately though, I actually forgot this fusion. I believe it is a Dragon mixed with a 5-star Aqua. But I think you need a certain damage threshold. You might need 1500 attack Dragon. I really should have done my research for this video, I do apologize, but I kind of just wanted to focus on the Aqua Dragon one anyways, because Aqua Dragon's a better card anyways. You wanna fuse to make this anyways. So anyways, you max this out guys, and the level cost reduction for summoning same type. That means you can play all your Sea Serpents for 2 stars less, and you might think that's not really worth it because there's only 5 of them. But I think it's legit actually. I think it's legit to build a water deck around Sea Serpents with its leader ability. Because if you think about this guys, that means you can play Aqua Dragon for 4 summoning levels straight out of the hand without having to fuse it. I mean, same with Sea King Dragon, but Aqua Dragon is way stronger. It's 2250 attack. It always creates water, so it's practically like always 2750, unless, you know, the enemy has a card that changes it to Wasteland, but holy crap guys, just imagine, you have Aqua Dragon as your deck leader, and in the first turn you draw Aqua Dragon and some equips, you can play it straight out of the hand. That is really good. I think that's good enough to warrant, you know, having Aqua Dragon as your deck leader, like even if you have a lot of Aquas and stuff in your deck. As long as you're playing Aqua Dragons and stuff, even Kairyu-Shins, very very good card for any water deck. Yeah, you may as well. The problem with the summoning level reduction is, even if you reduce the like the summoning level of these, if you want to fuse, you still need a 5-star Aqua. But what you can do is create a 5-star Aqua with some fusion combinations, which I'll be making the Aqua video eventually, hopefully soon. So you can always check that video out for fusions. But one example is, if you fuse any turtle card with Time Wizard, you'll make the 30,000-year-old turtle. So considering, you know, you can only reduce Kairyu-Shin Seadra to 3 stars, the lowest lowest summoning star turtle is 3 stars anyway, so you can bring out Aqua Dragon for 3 stars if you fuse the, like for example, Monster Turtle with Time Wizard, and then mix that with the Kairyu-Shin that's been reduced. You can bring Aqua Dragon out for 3 stars, but again, that is provided you draw the 3 cards in the one hand, so that's not as reliable as, you know, just playing Aqua Dragon straight out of the hand. Like, that's pretty damn cool. But quickly though, let's talk about the other leader abilities. So movement boost for same type friendlies. Usually this seems quite weak if you don't have the extended support range, but here's the thing, like, the Aqua Dragon and the Kairyu-Shin, they make water. If you flip them up and send them towards the enemy, whether it's attack or for Kairyu-Shin's sake, just, you know, you can just flip it up and move it 2 spaces. It doesn't even need to attack to make the water. Then once it's on water, it can move 2 spaces on its own anyways. I think this leader ability is actually pretty good in that regard. It synergizes good with the water kit because water creatures actually, you know, create water that allows them to further move. So basically this leader ability is saying you can play an Aqua Dragon first turn, and once that creates water, it can keep moving. Pretty insane stuff. Again, first turn you probably wouldn't flip it face up against the enemy because they can tell what it is, but it's still good, you know. I mean, I still like these abilities, even though they seem weak on paper. I think the synergy with the kit here is done right, even if it's only 5 monsters. But of course we haven't finished yet, guys. We're going to talk about Kairyu-Shin, Spike Seadra, Takriminos. Seeking Dragon, there's nothing to say about it that I haven't already said. It's a fusion, it's like Aqua Dragon, but not as good, no effect, not as much damage. But if you want, you can actually use that as an alternate leader, deck leader, if you prefer that like monster model over Aqua Dragon, or you just already have a high level on it or something. Spike Seadra is, if you flip this card up, it's strengthened by every Thunder monster on the field, and that's both players, by the way. So if you wanted to, you can stick this in a Thunder deck. It has pretty interesting synergy with a Thunder deck because you can use it, remember, to play, like, to fuse Aqua Dragon, and Aqua Dragon can be fused to make twin-headed Thunder Dragon. So if you have a deck mostly full of, like, Thunders, and then you have some stuff like Spike Seadra in it, and, you know, it's like some 5-star Aquas and stuff, you can have, like, a pretty decent, like, water/mountain sort of themed deck going on. You can do some pretty creative stuff with that. Not necessarily, like, good and amazing. This effect isn't really the greatest thing ever. But, you know, you can still do some creative stuff with it if you like. It's a pretty interesting card. And it's good, why I like this card is it's like a secondary Kairyu-Shin. A lot of the fusions that it was Kairyu-Shin are based on the attribute and, you know, type and the summoning level as opposed to the attack. It's more based on the summoning level, so you can use Spike Seadra as a replacement for a lot of fusions that Kairyu-Shin is normally required to do so. Obviously, Kairyu-Shin is a lot more reliable. I think there is one fusion, I can't think of the exact one, but I think there is one fusion where it actually makes a difference if you use Kairyu-Shin or not because of the attack threshold, but I'm not entirely sure. Kairyu-Shin, though, is a pretty famous card. A lot of people in Duels of Roses know this straight away. All spaces within a range of 1 space are transformed to sea terrain with the cards flip face up. That's really cool because that means this card usually bumps itself straight up to 2300 attack, and that's the thing I like about water cards is they're so focused on changing the terrain, and in reality terrain is like one of the 2 biggest advantages of the game. I always say it, guys, terrain and power-ups are the 2 biggest advantages in the game. If the water monster types already like innately give you the ability to put water all over the field, all you need to actually worry about is just putting equips on them, and then they'll do the rest of the work, you know, so it's pretty cool. The ability to play this for 3 stars is really insane as well, guys. I know I mentioned this whenever we talk about the level cost reduction, but that's insane, guys. I mean, 4 stars for Aqua Dragon is insane, but just 3 stars for Kairyu-Shin, I think that's even better, guys. Because remember, you always regenerate 3 summoning levels, so even if the enemy use Magic Drain, no matter what the enemy do, you're guaranteed to be able to play Kairyu-Shin out of the hand if you have that leader ability. Every single turn you regenerate 3, so you're guaranteed to have enough to play this if you draw it. That is very important, guys. I can't stress that enough. Takriminos is the last one to talk about, I guess, and this card isn't really that fantastic. It's got no effect, it's the weakest one, but it's also the lowest summoning stars. It's 4 summoning level, and this has like a bit of a domino effect on the summoning level because rather than reducing it 6 down to 4, 4 down to 2, that's literally half of the summoning level, so percentage-wise for reduction, it actually has more of an effect on this card than the other ones, which is cool because that balances it out. Being able to play 1500 attack for 2 stars, that's just as good as, you know, 1800 attack for 3 stars, in my opinion. It means you regenerate. If you play this card, you know, obviously you regenerate 3 every turn. If you play this card, you keep one of the ones you regenerate, and then you regenerate 3 the next turn, so playing Takriminos is like a good way to catch up on your summoning level. Especially, guys, especially when you know, with all the Sea Serpents here, you're only ever going to need 4. If you have the Great Aqua Dragon or Seeking Dragon leader ability with a 2 reduction, you're only ever going to need 4 summoning power to play any of these cards. So, if you have 3 and you play Takriminos, you'll have 4 next turn. So, between that leader ability and these cards, you'll be able to play a Sea Serpent pretty much every turn if you choose to do so. If for whatever reason you play a spell or a trap instead, you regenerate enough, like, you regenerate a bonus enough to play, like, 3 Aqua Dragons in a row, like, after that you play that spell. Like, if you end up with 6 and you regenerate 3 every turn, you're only playing 4-star cards, you can play, you know, all your stronger cards, and it's just... It's insane, guys. I know, like, I talked about, you know, some of the other types, like dinosaurs, I didn't talk about for too long because they weren't as interesting, but despite the fact there's only 5 Sea Serpents in the game, they're actually really cool. I really like them. If I have to be honest, they're just really, really cool. Before we finish, though, of course we have to talk about the... We all know it's Umi terrain. The water terrain boosts all the Sea Serpents, Fish, and Aqua. Everyone knows that. But these guys also have pretty good, power-up support. If I can get to the power-up, it's a 10 deck cost. So of course you have the power of Kairyu-Shin, wherever it is. Here we go, power of Kairyu-Shin. This powers up all water monsters. This is like one of the coolest power-ups in the game. All the elemental ones that do 500 are sick. You know, power of Kairyu-Shin, Bright Castle, all that. You can stick him in all your water decks because it works on all your water stuff. So this I would actually put first because considering you can only have 15 Sea Serpents in your deck, you're probably going to be sticking other stuff into your deck. So Power of Kairyu-Shin is always a good option, you know. If you make like Aqua without being able to fuse that with a Sea Serpent for whatever reason, you can still stick Power of Kairyu-Shin on it. High Tide is the other one you want. This works on Fish and Sea Serpent, so if you're sticking Fish in your deck, which also synergizes with water better, it's really cool, it's a lot better. The other one though we have is actually Dragon Treasure. I actually totally forget that this works on Aqua Dragon because it's Dragon Treasure, not Sea Serpent Treasure. But yeah, this works on Dragons and Sea Serpents, so you guys have access to 3 equips, like 3 solid, well-rounded 500 attack equips if you're running a Sea Serpent deck. You have Dragon Treasure, Power of Kairyu-Shin, and High Tide. Again, you can also use Megamorph if you so wish, if you want to include non-water monsters, but if your deck's mostly water monsters, then Power of Kairyu-Shin is essentially Megamorph for your deck, but better. Another good 10 tech cost card for this deck is actually Aqua Chorus. I mentioned briefly before, I think. This is a spell card that just straight up increases all your stuff by 600. These function different to power-ups, you can't chain stack them. You have to, you know, dedicate one of your cards you play once per turn to play this, which in that case it's not as big of an advantage as you'd think unless you were stacking multiple of them. Like, playing 2 in a row when you already have 3 Aqua Dragons out is pretty cool, but it doesn't make them any less vulnerable to like countering power-up buffs, so yeah, just be careful with that. You also have, I should also mention, I mentioned this power-up a lot, but it's actually, it does pop up a lot, is Horn of Light. Horn of Light you can actually stick on both Seeking Dragon and Aqua Dragon, so your 2 strongest Sea Serpents have a quick synergy with Horn of Light. I kind of almost forgot it because you don't need it. When you have 3, you can include up to 3 copies of the other equips into your deck. So it's totally up to you if you want to use this card or not, but I thought I may as well mention it in case you have other cards that run Horn of Light, because before I talked about like Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, that card is also compatible with Horn of Light, but it's not compatible with like any other equips. Like, it's not compatible with Power of Kairyu-Shin or the High Tide or anything, so yeah, may as well include that in your deck if you're going to be playing both Aqua Dragon and Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this actually pretty lengthy discussion for 5 monsters on Sea Serpents, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.